Hello and welcome to the Brea-Olinda Unified School District presentation on CAASPP Smarter Balance Assessment results for spring of 2016. As you already know, our state's assessment system is CAASPP, or California Assessment of Student Performance and Progress. This assessment system includes the Smarter Balance summative assessments. These assessments are administered online for students in grades 3 through 8 and 11 in the areas of English Language Arts and Literacy and Mathematics. CST, CMA, and CAAPA Science have been administered to students in grades 5th, 8th, and 10th, and these are taken as a paper and pencil assessment. The online scores for science are not yet posted on the public website, and therefore state and county data is not yet available. Also, we recently received an update from the county that CST Science is canceled for this year. The next generation science standards were previously adopted by the state, and the state is also working on the assessments called CASTs, or California Science Tests. This spring, there will be a pilot test, and next year, the NGSS test will be a field test.
This slide shows the total number of students tested in Brea. As you can see, 2,989 students took the Smarter Balanced English Language Arts and Literacy Assessment, while 3,000 students took the Smarter Balanced Mathematics Assessment. If you're wondering why there are 11 fewer students who took the ELA test, that is because any student who is an English learner and has been in the U.S. less than 12 months is exempt from taking the ELA portion of the test. It took each student approximately 8 hours of online testing. Therefore, the total hours of testing for 3,000 students is approximately 24,000 hours of testing. All of this took place in about a month's time, and for Brea, this occurred during the month of May. Staff and students reported great success with accessing technology and feeling more confident with the online testing interface.
When looking at the Smarter Balance summative scores, we need to understand these three areas: the overall scores, the achievement levels, and the claims. Each student receives an overall score for ELA and an overall score for mathematics. This score is expressed as a scale score, and it is a 4-digit number between 2,000 and 3,000. There are 4 achievement levels, and the overall score falls into one of these 4 achievement levels. The overall score for English Language Arts and Literacy is comprised of 4 claims, and the overall score for math is comprised of 3 claims. There are 3 achievement levels for the claims. Claims, or subscore areas, are broad, evidence-based statements about what students know and can do as demonstrated by their performance on the assessments. We will discuss each of these components in greater detail.
These charts show the minimum and maximum scale scores for each grade for both ELA and math. Scale scores are the basic units of reporting. These scores fall along a continuous vertical scale that increases across grade levels. It also shows that we must use caution when looking at the overall score or scale score across grade levels, since the ranges are different for each grade and subject. You can take a moment to see how the scale scores vary across grade levels and subject areas.
Here is an example of the math scale score ranges for each of the 4 achievement levels. The table for ELA is similar in that the scale scores differ for each grade and subject. However, it is important to note that the ranges differ from ELA to math. As you can see on this example, the thresholds are dynamic and change in every grade. The scale scores are important and can be used to illustrate the following: students' current level of achievement, growth over time, school level changes in performance, and gaps in achievement among different groups of students. Parents can utilize the visual provided in this example of an individual school report to see the growth of their own child's performance with regard to the overall score. We will also recap this information with a short video in the next few slides.
The scale scores we reviewed previously fall within these 4 achievement levels. They are based on the overall scores, or scale scores. Let's review these qualitative descriptors for each achievement level. If a student receives a score within the standard not met range, he or she needs substantial improvement for success in future coursework. If a student receives a 2, standard nearly met, they may require further development for success in future coursework. If a student receives a 3, standard met, it demonstrates progress toward mastery. And if they receive a 4, standard exceeded, it demonstrates advanced progress toward mastery.
The claims are the subtests or areas within English language arts and literacy and mathematics. This slide provides an example from an individual score report. As you can see, there are 4 claim areas in ELA. For reading, this claim shows how students demonstrate an understanding of literary and non-fictional texts. For writing, it shows how students can produce clear and purposeful writing. For listening, this claim shows how students can demonstrate effective communication skills. And for research and inquiry, this claim shows how well students investigate, analyze, and present information. There are 3 claim areas for mathematics. The first claim is how well students can apply mathematical concepts and procedures. For problem solving, modeling, and data analysis, this claim shows how well students can use appropriate tools and strategies to solve real-world and mathematical problems. Lastly, for communicating reasoning, this claim shows how well students can demonstrate their ability to support mathematical conclusions. The results for the claim areas provide results similar to subscores in that they provide supplemental information regarding a student's strengths or weaknesses. There are only 3 achievement levels for claims, since there are fewer items within each claim. The achievement levels, as shown on the example here, are below standard, near standard, and above standard. Parents and teachers receive this information as well as the overall score for each student.
The state has created several useful tools for understanding the assessment results. Through the public website, you can view complete statewide, county, district, and school results. This website has drop-down search functions and common graphics and result displays for ease of use. Individual score reports are provided to parents and teachers as well. Our district's individual score reports arrive later than anticipated. They arrived Tuesday, September 13th, which was also when we received our electronic data file. We have 20 days to send these reports home to parents, and they were in the mail this past Friday, September 23rd. Parents may have received the scores this weekend. We also included a letter to parents with comprehensive guidance on the report as well. The parent guides are a 1-page resource for parents and guardians to help understand the student score reports. These guides are offered in 10 different languages. For your convenience, each of these tools are linked through this presentation. The link will take you directly to these resources described.
This video provides highlights for understanding the Smarter Balance scores and the school report. It will be linked on the district website.
This graph shows the percentage of students who met or exceeded standards on the SBAC for our district, the county, and the state. The first graph on the left shows the data for English language arts. In yellow, 49% of students in the state of California met or exceeded standards. In green, 57% of students in Orange County met or exceeded standards. And in blue, 67% of students in BOUSD met or exceeded standards. The second graph on the right shows the data for mathematics. In yellow, 37% of students in the state of California met or exceeded standards. In green, 48% met or exceeded standards in Orange County. And in blue, 59% of students in BOUSD met or exceeded standards. This graph shows our economically disadvantaged and English learners. These are 2 significant subgroups that are targeted with our LCFF supplemental funds. For economically disadvantaged students in English language arts, in California, 35% of students met or exceeded standards. In Orange County, 38% of students met or exceeded standards. And in BOUSD, 46% of students met or exceeded standards. For our English learners for English language arts, in California, 13% met or exceeded standards. In Orange County, 15% met or exceeded standards. And in BOUSD, 22% met or exceeded standards. Now let's look at math. For economically disadvantaged, for our economically disadvantaged subgroup for mathematics, in California, 23% met or exceeded standards. In Orange County, 29% met or exceeded standards, and in BOUSD, 37% of students met or exceeded standards. For our English learners for mathematics, in California, 12% met or exceeded standards. In Orange County, 17% met or exceeded standards. And in BOUSD, 28% of students met or exceeded standards.
This is a district-wide graph by grade level that shows the 2-year comparison for English language arts. The purpose of this graph is to show that there are variations by grade levels to arrive at our district overall score for the comparison years. It's important to view this graph with an open lens and consider various factors. Consider that our student population and demographics are different when comparing data from spring of 2015 to spring 2016. For example, last year's third graders are different than this year's third graders. It is important for teachers to analyze and understand their current students' strengths and weaknesses, as this will affect instructional practices. This is a district-wide graph by grade level that shows the 2-year comparison for mathematics. The purpose of this graph is to show, again, the variations by grade levels to arrive at our district overall score for math. You will notice that 5th grade made a significant increase. However, last year's 5th graders are this year's 6th graders. So it's also important to look at the growth of this from 50 to 63. The 50 is in blue for the last year's 5th graders and 63 in green for this year's current 6th graders.
These are overall assessment rankings for the Orange County Unified School Districts. As you can see, BOUSD was tied for 5th in English Language Arts and tied for 4th in mathematics, based on the percentage of students that met or exceeded the standards. Economically disadvantaged is one of our significant subgroups, and it's interesting to note the rankings of the unified school districts based on the percentage of the students that are economically disadvantaged and how they can possibly impact test scores.
The state likes to use this visual to show how statewide summative assessment results can be likened to the tip of an iceberg, that they should not be ignored and we must pay attention. We must recognize that a great deal of information lies beneath the surface, and all that information needs to be investigated and considered. Through ongoing conversations and digging deeper into the results of not only summative assessments, but also other forms of assessment, we can make informed decisions about instruction as we move forward with student learning and achievement in mind. Throughout implementation of our assessment cycle, the state also likes to use the following visual as the emphasis is on ongoing data analysis and working towards reaching success and improvement. We all know that data review, examination, and analysis is complicated. We all like to believe that success looks like this, a straight trajectory from point A to point B. We create a plan, do the work, and we're successful, right? But in reality, the data process is not a straight trajectory. It has twists and turns. In moving forward, administration, principals, and teachers need to be part of the process to make sense of the data in order to impact the instructional planning cycle. The summative assessment results are just one measure that we look at and analyze to measure progress. Analyzing the summative scores with principals and teachers is not a one-time professional development opportunity. In addition, our data and assessment platform, Illuminate, allows us to create custom reports to disaggregate the data and to dial into our strengths and weaknesses with regard to the claim areas. This makes it possible for more actionable outcomes, as claim areas can be targeted through standards and instruction. At the district level, part of this process is examining the scores in the context of our local control and accountability plan and the state priorities and metrics. For each school administrator, teacher, and school site council will analyze, discuss, and interpret the data to form the basis of school site plans as they are developed to address site needs. Annual school site plans will be presented in the fall for board approval. Assessment targets connect the content standards to evidence that will be collected from the assessment. These targets are used to guide the development of items and tasks that will measure the Common Core state standards.
Great things continue to happen to support student learning. We will begin by increasing technology based on our LCAP. Each elementary school and Brea Canyon High School will receive 1 more Chromebook cart. The junior high will receive 2 Chromebook carts, and the high school will receive 3 upon board approval. Next, we will continue the deep study of the ELA-ELD framework, as well as integrated and designated ELD, adjusting our instruction and using formative assessment practices. The History Social Science framework has just been adopted this summer, and we will be investigating opportunities for professional development for our teachers. This year, we will continue to implement Go Math and have ongoing professional development for our teachers. Our district continues to offer a variety of professional development opportunities. In fact, this past summer, we offered 19 trainings based on teacher input and need. This year, AVID was also implemented at the Brea Junior High School. AVID will help increase overall study strategies to improve performance and skills for success in school. Continuing, we are piloting ELA-ELD curriculum for our adoption. Currently, we're piloting StudySync at the secondary level and Wonders at the elementary schools. The next phase, we will be piloting HMH and the benchmark curriculum. The Next Generation Science Standards, or NGSS, have been adopted, and the district has already begun to provide professional development opportunities. In addition, our district is part of the OC STEM ecosystem, which provides a variety of stakeholders from the community, We are in the process of planning the Brea STEM ecosystem. We are working on analyzing and drilling down the data to understand our current needs and next steps. Also, the Educational Services team met with all of the principals, with 1 more meeting left to go, to determine each site's instructional goals. The TOSA team is working with principals to determine ways to reach their specific site goals, implement strategies, and prioritize PD opportunities based on their needs.
Thank you for taking this opportunity to learn more about our district scores.